Hi, my name is Hans van der Maarel from Geographics, and I'm going to talk to you about an ongoing project that I'm busy with. It's international cooperation for a tourist map of Luxembourg. I'll briefly introduce myself and my company. I'll talk a little bit about the project, the challenges that we've been facing with the project, and I'm going to show you some of the end results. So first about Geographics. I started back in 2004. We're based in the Netherlands. We make maps and we sell and support a couple of software products for the geographic industry, including Map Publisher and Geographic Imager. Our logo is an evil ducky. He usually travels with me to NACIS, but since I can't be there, he's still at home right now. And if you've seen any of my previous NACIS presentations, you'll know that I usually make the joke that I'm the entire company. Well, no longer, because since about a year and a half ago, I've been working with these two very nice new ladies who have been helping me tremendously. So Team Geographics is now Veerle, me, and Inge. So the project, we were invited to bid on a tender by the Luxembourg Director General of Tourism for the production of a number of base maps in Adobe Illustrator at 1 to 20,000 scale for all of Luxembourg. So this was a project originating from the Ministry of Economics, but they represent the 5 individual regional tourist boards of Luxembourg. And the idea was that we would be making base maps that other parties, either they themselves or commercial companies, could use to add touristic data and create finished maps. Not only was the tender for producing the maps, but also for long-term maintenance of the maps and the data involved in producing the maps. We decided to team up with a company in Belgium called Nordend. Nordend is being run by a long-time business contact of mine, Jelle de Swaaf. Since all of the project communication had to be in German, and he has worked in the cartographic industry in Switzerland for a couple of years and has a German girlfriend, he is the perfect partner to work with on this project. Now, Luxembourg, it's a small, landlocked country in Europe. It's about 1,000 square miles, which makes it about roughly the size of Rhode Island. And it's got about 600,000 people. The northern part is hilly with open landscape. The southern part is hilly with dense forests. To be honest, that's my favorite part. It's your stereotypical Central European country, with castles and hills and woods and all of that. I already knew the country because we used to take our summer holidays there when I was a kid, and since then I've been back a couple of times for short trips, short vacations. Interesting to note is that Luxembourg has a very good, dense network of hiking and cycling trails, which is very nicely signposted. It's heaven for outdoor tourism. In fact, the photo on the right, I took it on a bike ride along an old rail trail converted into a cycling path, and it's just gorgeous. So the project, when we got the bid, when we got the project, we started analyzing the source data. We started looking at what the customer wanted, and we suggested a certain style. So this style was then refined over the course of a number of discussions and adaptations. We're actually still in the process of finalizing the last details of the style that we came up with. So what we're doing is we're using a lot of FME to pre-process the data. We got Luxembourg data through the Luxembourg cadastre, where another long-time business contact of me and Jelle happens to be working, but it's only for Luxembourg. The project called for another 2-kilometer buffer around the country. So we're using OpenStreetMap as much as possible for the vector data there. So all of the data had to be aligned, reclassified to the same classification, and had to match up and all of that. There's a lot of manual work that went into it as well to make it into one sort of seamless data set. Then we set up the styling in Avenza's Map Publisher. Since Geographics is the Benelux representative of Avenza, we're in a perfect position to work with their software. And we've used it on a lot of our projects, and I think we're really pushing the envelope on this one. So we're setting up all of the styling in Map Publisher because we set the whole thing up as 21 individual map sheets. It's very vital that we have to make sure that all of them are the same style and want to produce them as quickly as possible. Now, there's an underlying hill shade, which is a little bit of a challenge because we have to combine it from various sources. And then finally, we do automated text placement using Label Pro, followed by a lot of checking and manual edits. And Label Pro is great, and it gets you quite a long way there, but not quite finished yet. And we want to go for high quality. So the human touch is very necessary still. We set up the first set of proofs for the maps, and we got them printed. And then we spent a couple of days just poring over 21 gorgeously printed maps and marking all of the little things that need to be changed and need to be edited. So this was absolutely wonderful work. With some nice music in the background, and just keep on looking at the maps. Of course, the project, like any project, ran into some challenges. The big one was COVID-19. The project was due to start in early March, which is also when COVID happened to hit Western Europe. In fact, we were supposed to have a first on-site project meeting in Luxembourg around the second week of March. That had to be cancelled, and our project proposal called for 10 days of on-site work, and discussing with all of the local tourist boards what their needs were. So far, we've only done one half day. We did manage to make that into a 2-day trip, so we could do some field checking, if you know what I mean. You don't get to go to Luxembourg every day, so you enjoy it. Another problem that we ran into was language barriers. So the project language is German. We speak conversational German here at Geographics, but nowhere near cartographic. So that's where Jelle and his girlfriend, who's native German speaker, come in. Then all of the data is in French, actually, which caused some interesting issues. Of course, with Nordend, with Jelle, we speak Dutch because he's Spanish. And then the Luxembourgers themselves, they speak Luxembourgish, which is completely unlike any of the other languages that I know. So there's a lot of translation going on back and forth throughout the project. Also, the data outside of Luxembourg turned out to be more of an issue than we thought it would be. Turns out that OpenStreetMap is actually not as complete as we'd like it to be, especially in Germany. We also have an inconsistent hill shade. As I mentioned, we had to cobble together the hill shade from various different sources. This included contour lines and spot elevations for Luxembourg, contour lines for France, which covered part of Germany that we needed, an existing hill shade for the rest of Germany, and then a lighter data set for Belgium, which happened to be shaded from the wrong side, right instead of left. In fact, if you look at this example right here, on the top left corner, you can see the shading is coming in from the wrong direction. That's Belgium. The other thing is that the contour lines, we had them for Luxembourg. We didn't have them for any of the other countries except for France. Of course, they didn't quite match up. And so for Belgium and Germany, we derived them out of AstroGDEM data, which in terms of level of detail and accuracy actually kind of works out nicely. But they don't actually match up along the border. So if you look very closely, you could see the contour lines shifting, which is really annoying. There's a sort of an inconsistent vertical error between the two data sets. We haven't really figured out a way to deal with it. More challenges. This wouldn't be an easy project, of course. So as I mentioned, we've got 21 map sheets. So they turn out to be pretty big files. So saving one of those files takes a couple of minutes. And we've kind of estimated that if we want to make one change to all of the maps, we'll lose about 2 hours just saving them. So this means that we want to make sure that we process a lot of changes in one go, rather than small incremental ones. Also, the style that we're working on is not quite finalized yet, but one of the 5 regional tourist boards has already commissioned us to produce the final maps as well, and they have a deadline, so we need to move on. We're kind of working ahead, hoping that they'll accept our style. There were some other data issues. We misinterpreted some of the French phrases for the data, which meant that we switched several route classes around, which ended up moving on. There were inconsistent classifications. The first round of maps that we did, all of the spot elevations were in the wrong locations, like all of them. So we had to redo all of that work. And not all of the data is available for the entire country. We've got some areas marked with rock faces that we're sort of manually drawing in. And we only have them for a small part of the country. We know there's more. But a lot of the data is currently with the regional tourist boards, and it's hard to get out of it. Having said all that, I'm still very proud of the maps that we've made so far. I think we've really made a very nice looking product. I'm very, very proud of it. So I'm just going to leave you with a couple of samples of the sort of finished product now. And that's it. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. And if not, I hope to see you again next year.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your talk, Hans. I don't see any questions right now. We'll wait. We've got a little bit of time, though. If anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in into the Slack Carto Moves channel. And we'll wait a little bit here. I guess a comment from Julie Whitmer. Julie said, loved hearing about the issues you had. Sometimes I think projects like this go too smoothly for everybody but me. But I missed how you fixed the contour line issue. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that, Hans.
So for the time being, we haven't actually fixed the contour issue. So the contours outside of Luxembourg were a very late addition to the entire layout of the maps. And with the data we have right now, and the time we have right now, and the budget we have right now, we can't really do anything about it. We just kind of have to live with it, that they're jagged along the border. Fortunately, about half of the Luxembourg border is actually river. So pretty much everything on the German side is a river. So that kind of masks most of the problems on that side. So I guess yay for rivers.
So to solve the contour issue, just insert a river.
Yep.
And that solves it. Cool.
Of course.
Awesome.
So at Red Geographics, we also offer a bulldozer driving service. We can just make the landscape.
If you're not happy, not happy with the geography, just change it. Yep. Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, I don't see any others coming in. Thank you so much, Hans, and thank you everybody for watching.